The digestive system begins to break down when you have a lot of unresolved anger, right? Self-sabotage, fear, indecisiveness, maybe guilt or blame or jealousy or feeling like a victim. And, you mentioned, at the beginning, everything begins and ends with the gut, right? Even Hippocrates said 2,000 years ago that all health begins and ends in the gut. So
Welcome to the Holistic Truth Podcast. I'm Jamie Dorley, CEO of Nutritional Frontiers.
And I'm Christine Genovese, creator of the Soul Intelligence Method. We're here to help you break through chronic disease and dysfunction physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically.
With real proven strategies, protocols, and tools you can use in your practice today. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. And welcome to the #1 podcast for natural healing and wellness. I'm your host, Jamie Dorley, CEO of Nutritional Frontiers. We are making the world and your world healthy. And I'd like to welcome back my partner in crime, our Chief Growth Officer and the creator of the Soul Intelligence, the lovely and talented, looking gorgeous today, Christine Genovese. How we doing, Christine?
I'm great, Jamie. I'm excited for today's episode because it, to me, is the foundation of everything that we do in functional medicine.
Yeah, the old naturopath will say health and wealth and death begins in the gut and colon. It's our #1 program at Nutritional Frontiers. And in fact, it's such a key part of functional medicine, we had to split it into two wellness solutions. So we have the microbial solutions now, and now we have the GI solutions. And
Well, it's one of my favorite little categories. I don't know if you can tell, but this is my cute little GI pen.
oh,
What
I
do you
thought it was a
think?
crazy straw.
It is a crazy straw. It's actually a pen, but it's a really, really cute GI tract.
We got GI Pen and we have the gut guy, Dr. Len. So we got it all covered here. It's been our top category from day one, almost 18 years at Nutritional Frontiers. And, I think so many people are suffering from lack of optimal health, right? You meet with people, you're doing your SQ sessions, and, my background with nutrition and personal training, it's like people aren't at their best, but they don't have any quote unquote disease. It's often because they're really toxic. And, the gut is really a key part of this because think about, have you seen a rise of friends or family or patients, colleagues with autoimmune conditions?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And, so many people are suffering from those. And, they're told a couple things. That's how I shifted gears in my career. I was sports medicine major, and then I was diagnosed with psoriasis, an autoimmune condition. I couldn't figure out why. And lo and behold, I found out over the years that it's really the fact of, the intestinal tract should be a very thick muscle wall with a villi or hair-like filter on top.
hmm
And that's designed to, like a screen door in the old days, let the air come in and keep out all the bugs. In the same way with your intestinal tract, it's supposed to allow the nutrients in, but keep out the bugs and the toxins. But over time, due to antibiotic use, lack of fiber in the diet, bacteria exposure, candida, those villi get worn out and then the muscle gets decreased. So it becomes more porous. And what happens now is rather than things being excreted through the bowels, they actually leak into the bloodstream.
Mm,
You might have heard of leaky gut dysbiosis.
yeah,
This is really what's going on. So when you have these foreign invaders breaking through the intestinal tract and getting in the blood, what happens to the immune system?
crashes.
Yeah, it's hyperactivated. It's like, hey, foreign invader, foreign invader, foreign invader. Now the immune system is hyperactive and it's turned on so that it's got to fight off these invaders. So, what does the docs do? The allopathic docs, they want to shut the immune system off.
Yeah,
Not the right approach. What you really need to do is rebuild that intestinal tract wall, restrict the amount of toxins you're exposed to, and heal and seal the gut.
right. Well, the digestive system begins to break down when you have a lot of unresolved anger, right? Self-sabotage, fear, indecisiveness, maybe guilt or blame or jealousy or feeling like a victim. And, you mentioned, at the beginning, everything begins and ends with the gut, right? Even Hippocrates said 2,000 years ago that all health begins and ends in the gut. So GI issues typically are difficulties in digesting life and assimilating new information, right? Kind of feeling stuck in a pattern of fear or limitation or worry or guilt. And if you think about what our gut is, right, that is our solar plexus chakra. So you have
Oh,
7 major energy centers in the body. Well, the gut, right, your solar plexus is one where we process things like self esteem and self worth, relationships. And if you think about it, life's all about relationships. And if you think about what happens, like if something bad happens, the first place you feel it is in your gut, right? You feel like you got punched in the gut sometimes, or you're really worked up because you've got an important speech that you got to make. You get butterflies in your stomach. It's the first place we really sense or feel. And so the tensions in the digestive system are really tied to fears of like doing without or lack or conflicts, and emotional needs and primary needs. So that's really where everything begins and ends when we start talking about emotions and how we feel about ourselves and others.
yeah, I was gonna ask you that. So, like, if you get a, feeling when you meet somebody, good or bad, that's tied into the same thing, right?
Absolutely. And it usually hits us right in the gut. And if you think about what the gut does or our stomach does, it's supposed to store food and process food. It's also where we store emotions or process
Mm.
emotions or we don't. And that's
Yeah,
where everything starts.
and I think that's why doing the session recently, I said to you, I says, "My stomach feels better. I don't it's like I can breathe better. It's like it's released that, so it's not so tight." And I think that was, really, due to doing the, soul intelligence session with you, so thank you, very helpful.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to talk about, our primary formula, our number one formula. It is definitely our GI complete.
Yeah, there's so many people that are suffering with GI issues. Um, our doctors that do functional medicine, they always focus on the gut first. The challenge has been over the years is how do you get all those nutrients in to help heal and seal the gut? So at the World of Wellness, it used to be 8 different products. And with our research here under the tutelage of Dr. James Weiner, myself, Joe Messino, Dr. Len, Dr. Tracy, and the team, we says, well, maybe we can start putting these nutrients together. We've always, you got to think of why is L-glutamine in there. You ever ask yourself why is L-glutamine the foundation of this?
No, I didn't, but it is. There's like 5,000 milligrams in it.
Yeah, 5 grams. And if you think about L-glutamine, it's amino acid. A lot of times bodybuilders will take it. Well, why do we put it in here? Because the GI tract is a mucosal lining. It's a muscle. They
Hmm.
call it the galt and malt. The mucosal associated lymphoid tissue and the galt, the gut associated lymphoid tissue. So it's actually a muscle. Just like your biceps that are peaking, the gut is muscle. And on top of that should be that villi or hair-like filter that should filter out any toxins and bacterias, so they don't get absorbed. However, when that mucosal lining has that villi stripped down, now it's exposed. And what happens?
Mm.
Bacteria chews it up. Think about, I mean, you don't deal with this anymore in Florida, but in Pittsburgh, in the winter, you have to get these potholes.
Oh,
That's what happens in the intestinal tract, and that's what diverticulitis actually is. It's little pockets in your intestinal tract, just like a pothole in the road, because the villi has been worn out, the muscle is worn out, and now the muscle tissue gets actually pockets in there, which will trap fecal matter, get infections, bacteria. So that's advanced dysbiosis or leaky gut. So the glutamine is actually the fuel to feed the muscle in the intestinal tract. So you do get the benefit. It'll feed the muscle in your arms too, but it's in here to feed the gut. We also use arabinogalacticans, inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber. This can double the amount of immune cells in your intestinal tract. People are like, what do you mean immune cells in your over 70% of your immune cells live in and around the intestinal tract. Probably because if you're going to be exposed to something, it's usually something you're exposed that you're ingesting.
mm.
And that's why we put that in there. We also have DMG. What's DMG?
That is the best. Darn mighty good. It is a dimethylglycine and it's the ultimate methylator in the body.
Yeah, and it has 3 US patents. One is for rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune condition. Can you believe it?
Well, that's why it's got to be in GI complete, right?
So if you're being told that you have an autoimmune condition and they're on the rise, there's over 100 of them now, especially post-COVID and all the vaccines people got. DMG has a US patent for rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune. So if your doctor tells you there's no cure and there's nothing you could do for an autoimmune condition, they're right. They can't help you. It doesn't mean somebody else can't help you. You know, it's funny if people take their car to a mechanic and they tell them they can't help them, would they keep going back to them? It's insane.
No, he'd probably pick somebody else. But, the fact that it's also shown to reduce tumors as well, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, one of the patents is for melanoma in animals. You can see the tumor reduction in size. You're right on. Also, osteoarthritis when you combine it with green lip muscle. We use DMG in over 30 different formulations. So awesome. Aloe. Remember as a kid, did you have an aloe plant in the house?
We did have an aloe plant, and anytime I burned my hand on the stove, I would be running for the aloe plant in a quick way.
Yeah, so aloe is very soothing to the GI. It helps those tissues that are really inflamed and hot. It helps them cool down. Slippery elm and marshmallow help with bowel regularity. And then we have a secret weapon here called zinc carnosine. Everyone knows about zinc, but when you combine zinc, which is a mineral, to the amino acid carnosine, that molecular structure actually is able to bind to any wounded sites in the intestinal tract, even peptic ulcers.
Hmm.
It attaches to the wounded site, the damaged tissue. It immediately starts the healing process because zinc is known so well for healing. Zinc carnosine is used in a lot of countries. It's used in Asia just about in everything. It helps with H. pylori. So if people have an H. pylori infection, triple antibiotics works about 80%. Do
Wow.
you know how you get it to 100? When you add in zinc carnosine. My
Wow.
daughter, in fact, you remember she was in a bad car accident, had reconstruction, was on a lot of antibiotics. We got her one of our doctors, Dr. Val Donaldson. She recommends she goes on GI Complete because she had H. pylori, and lo and
Mm,
behold, all those things are gone. C.
that's
diff, H.
amazing.
pylori, all gone. So heal and seal the gut. I love the GI Complete, and obviously our clients do too. So why is that?
Well, it tastes great, right? We have it in two great flavors too. We have it in raspberry and we also have it in lemon lime. So whether you're feeling like, you want a chocolate raspberry martini, that's one of my favorite GI complete with our super chocolate super shake, or whether you want to do our ultimate shake pineapple coconut with the greens and GI complete lemon lime, you'll get a margarita flavor. So they taste great. And the reason why it's so important for things to taste great is so that people will take them and heal and be compliant.
Yeah, and what do you like in the summertime? I love watermelon, so we have a brand new watermelon flavor, GI Complete. So have you tried it? I think it tastes incredible.
Yes, it does. And I'm really excited that we're able to bring that out this quarter. It's amazing.
And if you're a little weird and you don't want powder, we have in the capsule. So we got
That's
it
true.
covered for you.
Well, I know that if you combine our GI Complete and our Probezyme, that you actually have a complete GI solution. And I love Probezyme. I never leave home without it. I've always got my travel
Oh,
size
thank
with
God.
me.
So I'm always asking, can I have one? Can I have one? Yeah.
I always have it in our travel size that I take with me. And Probezyme is a probiotic enzyme blend that is chewable. And I love grape, cherry, and we have the original flavor in tropical fruit punch. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but this was our very first product.
Yeah, as our first formulation, like a proud parent, it's like thinking way back to this first one we got in 144 bottles. I couldn't wait. I was so excited. And over the years, we've added on flavors, right, from the fruit punch to the grape and the cherry. And we've also added a couple new patented research trademarked ingredients, including the Optizyme with the GD4. What is GD4 for?
Well, I believe it helps people if you've got gluten sensitivity, right? You go out to eat, you don't know there's gluten in something. It's actually this great patented enzyme that has a good positive effect on gluten sensitivity.
Yes, and, I think everybody's probably sensitive to gluten, right? It's not really designed to be broken down in the body. So even if you're gluten-free or you're not, This will help you because it has that enzyme in there. And like you mentioned, cross contamination at a restaurant, or you may not even realize it's in there. So that's been an upgrade over the last few years. The other thing is the probiotic blend. We have the inulin in there, which is the prebiotic, but we have the lactospore. So this is a Bacillus coagulans. So it's a spore forming probiotic. We use that in a chewable because the lactobacillus, when you combine in the lactospore, that ingredient you can utilize with other ingredients. So you can combine it with the enzymes, you can put it in a chewable, you can expose it to light, humidity, heat, it does air, it doesn't matter, it doesn't break down. So that's why we added the Lactospore a few years ago. Now we have the OptiZion, two really key patented research trademarked ingredients, probiotics and enzyme in the chewable. So safe for mom during pregnancy, safe for an infant. Sometimes the mom will, take it and use it through the breast milk. Other times they'll crush it up. And then once the kid can start chewing, what does Jacqueline's kids say?
Oh, they love it. They always want a Probezyme, and I know Justin down in Texas, his daughter always says her tummy hurts so she can get a Probezyme.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that. Whenever my kids would say a bellyache growing up, they all were brought up on Probezyme. So that's the first thing they go for. Anytime we travel, I take it. When we go out to eat, I take it out with us for the same reasons. They know it helps. And, growing up on it, I think it makes it really, easy for them to remember that, hey, that really helps me out a lot, especially with a bellyache. And in fact, my goddaughter, Grace, up there in Connecticut, it's her birthday party a year ago, and we go up there to celebrate. And says, "Oh, my belly hurts." I said, "Do you have any probes on?" "Yeah, I don't want to take it." I says, "Just take two." About a half hour later, she was going for the ice cream cake. I go, "How's your belly feel?" She goes, "Oh, it feels great. I took the probes on." So it tastes great and it works great.
And like I said, the Probezyme in particular is one of those must-haves. You always got to go for it. You can take it before a meal, you can take it after a meal, you can even take it during the meal, right?
I take them anytime. I think a lot of times I take it on an empty stomach, and it's cool because we have the travel size, right? So you can put it in your purse, you can reload it whenever you need it. Always keep the Probezyme on you.
And this is a must-have for Super Bowl season. So you're going to want to load up on that before you hit the hot wings and the nachos. Our next one is about Cybezyme, right? And this one I think is neat. It does so many different things in the body, and I want you to share that with
Yeah,
everybody.
this is interesting because this actually was before Nutritional Frontiers. This is one of Dr. Wana's original formulations. This goes back pre-Probzyme and pre-NF. And he was so generous to grandfather it in on the Nutritional Frontiers line. And this is a capsule version of Probzyme. It's got more of the enzymes in it, but it does have some probiotics too. The nice thing about this is a full spectrum, broad, comprehensive enzyme blend. What does that mean? We have all the enzymes in there because each enzyme will work a little bit differently on different foods. So you have things like lipase in here will help with lipids or fats.
Hmm.
Protease will help with proteins. Amylase will help with starch. We even put invertase in there, which will help with sugar. So we have all these different enzymes in here, including DPP4, which was the original gluten digest enzyme. So we have all the enzymes in there. We even add in some trace minerals, and then we have the probiotic blend. So you get prebiotics in here, probiotics, and enzymes in a veggie cap.
So one of the things I remember you saying is if you take Cybezyme on an empty stomach, it can actually clean up different things in the body from an injury. I remember you saying it's kind of like a Pac-Man. So how
Yeah.
could you use that besides to support the GI?
Yeah, we call it systemic enzymes, right?
Okay.
So if you take Cybezyme with food, it's going to help digest the food.
Okay.
If you take it on an empty stomach, it's actually going to get into the bloodstream, like you said, like a Pac-Man, travel around. So one is going to do is digest any undigested food that might be in the bloodstream, which does occur. The other thing is it'll digest any damaged tissue. So,
Mm.
playing tennis, spraining the ankle, it's swelling up. Take Cybezyme as a systemic enzyme 1 hour before a meal or at least 2 hours after a meal. And you can take the dose up pretty good. Not making any claims here, of course, but for cancer protocols, some docs will give 5 to 10 3 times per day without food. So it can go in there and start breaking down damaged or foreign tissue. So it works great for a digestive enzyme. You can only, probably only need 1 to 3 caps. And it works really well as a systemic enzyme without food.
Is this also a good one if you're feeling really bloated?
Oh, absolutely. Cyberzyme is great to take acutely if you have bloating going on, any type of GI pain. You can use any of our enzymes, Prozyme, Cyberzyme, or Betazyme. You can get it very specific with each one, but Cyberzyme is more the broad spectrum. Prozyme is more the chewable probiotic and enzyme. The reason we use the chewable is that you can get, if you have heartburn or reflux that's up here, if you take the capsule, it may not get that. The Prozyme also works in the mouth and the upper GI too. Now, Betazyme is really cool because this will actually incorporate not only the pancreatin enzymes from the pancreas, but also incorporates ox bile. Who would need bile? Someone that doesn't have a gallbladder. And you mentioned on one of our previous shows, it's a very common surgery these days. So you need the pancreatin enzymes for diabetics. You need those enzymes if you want to break down more fat. The betaine hydrochloride will actually help with people who have been on antacids because the symptoms of too much acid or too little is the same. You get heartburn. And people
Hmm.
think they have too much acid, they need an acid blocker. No, the acid is in the wrong place. They're probably eating a lot of processed junk that is not able to be broken down. So that's going to create a lot of bacteria and a lot of acid to come up. Plus, if you have hiatal hernia, where that esophageal sphincter is open, the acid will come up. So if you're suffering from heartburn and reflux and you've used or have a history of using antacids, the betazyme will actually correct that over time. So you can use Prozyme for the symptom and Betazyme to restore that. And has some peps in there too. Is very gentle on the intestinal tract, and also the gentian root. So very comprehensive formula. You're trying to break down fat. You're trying to support the liver and the gallbladder. If you have a history of diabetes or have lost your gallbladder, Betazyme would be the one for you. It's actually in our top 7 formulas. I think it's number 7 right now.
Wow. Well, I know this is one formula that you absolutely love and use on a regular basis are superbiotics. Why is it so good?
Well, probiotics are live bacteria, right? There are good bugs, pro life, right? Good bacteria, probiotics. There's no shortage of probiotics on the market. You can go to the health food store, the Publix or Giant Eagle here, the pharmacy. You can find probiotics just about anywhere. The challenge is the quality of the probiotics. These are live bugs, right? Just like any other bug. If they're not in the right environment, they die. So when you look at the first ingredient, Lactobacillus acidophilus, do you see that little LA14 after that?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the PRT. That's actually the brand of the Lactobacillus acidophilus we use is LA14. They're all are PRTs in here from Danisco. So why do we use patent and research trademark forms of live bacteria? Because these bacteria all survive the stomach acids, all survive the digestive enzymes in the bile, and they've all been proven to get somewhere in the intestinal tract and actually do something.
Hmm.
So if you look at probiotics as the general classification of bugs, it's like saying, "Oh, I have a dog." Well, if you want a guard dog, you don't have a Shih Tzu, you get a German Shepherd. So each one of these bacteria have a very specific characteristic. Lactobacillus works more for the upper GI. We went over some of the other ones before that are going to work more in the lower GI. Bifidobacterium longum is more of an anti-inflammatory. Some work better on lactose. So we put together the patented research trademark forms. We put together a comprehensive blend so you're covering all your bases like a football team, right? You need the right players. You can't just have the quarterback without the linemen and the receivers and the running backs. So we have all the players you need. They're all PRTs, and then we have the right dose and the right combinations. And these are guaranteed at expiration date. So if you look at the line, it says 15 billion CFU. That stands for colony forming units. We have over 100 trillion probiotics in our intestinal tract,
What?
right? 100 trillion. It's 10 times the cells we have in our body. It's a
Wow.
very complex ecosystem. Yeah, 100 trillion. There's a lot of zeros after that. So when you look at that, we need the right dosing of probiotics, the right form, and then the right combination. That's what we've done, including we put it in a very protective bottle. So what type of bottle do we use?
Yeah, we use this blue glass bottle so that the light doesn't affect it. And, you talk about how many trillions of things are in your gut, but how about 50 billion CFUs with 12 probiotic species in a single capsule? That's pretty powerful stuff.
Absolutely. Some people need a higher dose, right? If you have a history of antibiotic use, if you have an issue with any type of GI surgery or medications, antacids. If you come up positive for any of those GI critters we've talked about before, right? I always like the superbiotics. So originally, when I was doing consults for people, I put them on the can to kill in the morning with the super shake, and I always use superbiotics at night. For me personally, I had an infection years ago, and I was on IV antibiotics for about a month, and I have to use superbiotics still to this day. When I use them, my GI is good, my skin's good, my belt goes all the way down to one of the lower belt loops. If I stop using it for a few days, I do feel a little more bloated, a little puffier around the GI. I use one capsule now, not to two. You don't need 5 or 10 caps of these. 1 or 2 caps a day is great. This is more of a midterm formulation. Some people like me will stay on it long term, and some use it short term. But you can use this. Very safe and very effective. If you want a powder probiotic, what do?
I don't know. What do you do?
Just take the capsule and empty it out, and you can put it in any food or beverage. And another little clinical pearl, as I like to call it, you got me fired up today, Christine, is I learned this from Dr. Wana years ago. If you have any types of sores or, irregularities in your mouth, right? Sometimes people get like a gum sore or something on their tongue or anywhere in your skin, a blemish, a cut, anything. Take the probiotic out of the capsule, put it on a little dish, put a little bit of drops of water on it and a Q-tip and make it into a paste. And you can put that anywhere where you're having this blemish or this sore or anything else. I guarantee within 2 to 3 days, it's going to be miraculous. I have a friend who's also a client at the World of Wellness. He always comes in for our events, and big guy, likes to work out, fun guy. And he says, hey, my wife won't come in, but he was scared at one time. He goes, she's got a growth on her tongue. He goes, I'm really nervous. I go, oh, really? He goes, yeah, we haven't got it biopsied yet, but he goes, any thoughts? I go, you know what? This is a Hail Mary. Try this. He did the superbiotics, which he had already, put it on a dish, added some water, made it to a paste, and she applied it over the next 3 days after she brushed, flossed, and rinsed. And you know what? After a few days, that lump or whatever, that growth on her tongue was gone.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the
So
next formulation that we're going to talk about, Jamie, I am really excited about. I know it is something that you are super passionate about. You've really wanted to bring, out of product development and into fruition, and it's finally here. Our ProBio 3. Now, what is that?
that's what's giving me this big smile right now. You see that? How happy I am? I tell you what, I am proud of this formulation. Me, you, and my son went to the Supply Side West show the last couple of years, and I've gone to that show for 18 years. And the reason we go is we learn about the latest and greatest innovations in the field of nutraceuticals. So we were out there a couple of years ago, and they're releasing the newer research on um, postbiotic. And I says, oh, well, hold on, let's slow down. Let's go through this. So I said, I know what a probiotic is. That's the live bacteria. So in the ProBio 3, we use the probiotic. We actually use the NCFM strain of Lactobacillus in here. Do you know what NCFM is? North Carolina Food and Microbiology. This is a PRT that I learned from Dr. Jeff Bland 20 years ago.
Hmm.
So almost the most researched lactobacillus on the market. So we use that and the bacillus coagulans, and we use the right form. The MTCC is the right form of the bacillus coagulans to be used in this formula with the NCFM strain of lactobacillus. So we have the probiotic. We use a prebiotic. And what is prebiotic?
Well, I think we kind of talked about that. Isn't that like fiber-ish stuff?
Yeah. So this one is a PRT called Lytesi Ultra. So it's a fibrous form of the prebiotic, which is actually food for the probiotic. So we have the prebiotic in here, and they're all PRTs, patented research trademarked ingredients. That's why we're so excited about this formula. So we have the PRT prebiotic, 2 PRT probiotic. So the postbiotic is called calciobiotic. It's a postbiotic. These are actually the dead bugs that act as the fertilizer and the compost to help regenerate new, better probiotics. So prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic.
That is so cool. So that is really some of the latest and greatest research for the wonderful gut protocols that we have now. And when we talk about, the gut from an energetic perspective, right? We talked about, when you're having issues in there, it's like unresolved anger or self-sabotage or, guilt or blame or feeling like a victim. So I would just encourage everybody, it's the new year. Let's practice some self-empowerment, right? Self-appreciation, nourishing your heart and your soul, letting go of the old and bringing in the new. It's the new year. Learning to love and honor yourself by practicing patience and tolerance. And you can also figure out what's going on in there. I'd be happy to do a soul intelligence session for someone or teach you how to use the method for yourself. And you can go to soulintelligencemethod.com if you want to learn the energy side. If you're looking for more help on the body side, you definitely need to go to nutritionalfrontiers.com because a lot of the products and formulations we just talked about today can be found on our website and on sale. Actually, they can all be found on the website, but some of them are on sale because we want to support everybody's gut health going into the new year strong. So if you enjoyed today's episode, I'm going to encourage you to comment, like, and share with someone who needs to hear about gut health. And we really appreciate everybody joining us this quarter.
Well, thanks so much. I'm so excited. Q1 2026, we're off to the new year and helping people get clean and get lean, folks. So the microbial solutions, the GI solutions, and the detox solutions. And so excited about the new formulations. We got the ProBio 3, we got the Ultimate Shake and Greens in a packet. And we also have the GI Complete watermelon flavor. So all available right now, folks. Kicking us off to a healthy and happy new year. Thanks for all support in 25. And we're looking for a big 2026. So thanks, Christine. Let's have a great Q1 and a great year this year. Appreciate all support and God bless everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Holistic Truth Podcast.
If this episode spoke to you, please follow the show and share it with someone ready to take charge of their well-being. And if you can, leave us a review. It helps others find our podcast.
For more tools and practitioner support, visit nutritionalfrontiers.com.